hopefully you notice, even if you send us a bad comment, I don't know if you've looked at our comments, those, hey, look, man, the people that usually comment, they comment because they don't have nice things to say.
Yeah.
And if you even send a mean comment, I will say, hey, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for, even if you listened and if you could post whatever you want right now. If you're listening to this, that means you listen to the end of the episode. Say whatever you want, make fun of people,
You're in
whatever,
the
and I
top
will say
point something something
yes.
1%.
I
Like you're
guarantee I will respond and say thanks for listening
if
because
you leave a
I
comment,
appreciate it.
you are elite. You're in elite
Yeah,
company.
you're my hero. Even if you say awful things about me, it's like thank you for commenting. I love you. Are you kidding me? And
Great.
you subscribed?
Hey, what up, everyone? Never said what up before, but hello, greetings, everyone. Welcome to
Yes. Hello.
the Upsiders. Hey,
Hey!
we're gliding you, we're guiding you,
Oh, we're
but we're
gliding.
gliding. We're guiding you while we're gliding through the present, showing
Yeah.
you that the future is already being created, already being worked on by some of the greatest, brightest minds.
Yeah.
Um, to the issues that we face today, the challenges that we face today in society and the world at large. So yeah, we're a breath of fresh air in the sense that when you turn on the news, when
You're really
you're on
hyping us
social
up.
media, but it's true. You're on
Whew.
social media, doom and gloom. We're none of that. We're showing you, we're not ignoring that, but we're showing you some of the good stuff that's being done.
Let's go
And
back to when you were talking about brightest minds. Were you talking
yeah,
about us?
no, no, not us. I'm saying the
Oh, okay.
people
Thank
in
God.
the groups and organizations we highlight
Yeah.
to work
Okay.
on,
Great.
yeah, some of these great things. And so
We're two
that's what
schlubs.
the upsiders are. So yeah,
Yeah.
if this is your first time, welcome. Make sure, yeah, hopefully you like it. If you do like it, if you're watching on YouTube, press like. If you're listening to us audio wise, if they have a rating or thumbs up, do one of those.
Yeah.
Subscribe, follow, tell your friends, family, loved ones, even your worst enemies. Maybe they'll get something out of it. And maybe that'll help
And
you guys get back together.
even if even if you're watching us on YouTube, go on over to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any stuff like that, and just
You never
check it
know.
out there too. Because man,
Yeah.
people love to watch our videos. They don't like to listen to us as much. Apparently, I don't know, but
Yet.
YouTube,
Yet.
yeah, YouTube
Hey, I'm
pushes
always
everything
looking
else
at
out
the
the way.
upside.
Yeah.
I'm always
Ooh,
looking at the
yes.
upside. So yeah.
And what's your name?
Not yet. My name's Los, your friendly neighborhood Los, aka the
That's right.
artist formerly known as Los. And what's your name?
My name is Cohabitat Bertram.
Oh,
Oh, that's right.
cohabitating. Ooh,
Yeah, you're
which
living with
is,
me.
yeah, which
I'm
is
your
exact.
roommate. Hey, I killed the milk last night. If you're listening to this, you need to go. You need to go to Aldi get another gallon of milk. I'm
And that
eyeballing that cheese you put in the fridge too.
that happens
those
to be
those
exactly
Panda
what
Express leftovers. You can finish that.
happens to be exactly what we're talking about today, shared spaces. So
Yes, I'm your cohabitat.
so we could talk about, well, shared spaces. So does that just mean, Bertram, like we're roommates, or we
Ooh,
were almost we were practically roommates
ooh,
back in
man,
the day.
kind of. Yeah.
Practically, we were next door neighbors, but we were always in each other's
And
places.
Los had nothing in his apartment. But
It was an
he
yeah.
barely had a bed. So I don't even think you had a bed frame, did you?
Well, it was one of yeah, it was a bed frame, but it was
Okay. You
very
got a bed
minimal.
frame now?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
good. I was hoping that was man. Those were some hard days, you and I, my
yeah,
friend. Whew, what are
yeah,
bed frames? Yeah. So not only are we going to talk about living spaces, but we're also going to talk about working spaces. One of the things that I've noticed in my community is this idea. There's multiple. cohabitat working places in
Hmm.
my neighborhood in Indianapolis. So there's a lot of co-working spaces and there's multiple co-living spaces. Los, as we record this, it was just Halloween not too long ago. Did you go trick or treating? Did you have trick or
I
treaters?
did
Anything like
not.
that? Oh dang.
No, no. I was kind of, yeah, I was out of the trick or treating orbit. How about you? Well, are you the good house? Are you the house to go to with the Snickers bars and all of that?
Oh, well, we did talk about that today with some of the neighborhood kids. I said our goal is to be we want to be the house that gives away the good stuff. Like we want to give full size candy bars. I live in this city called it's a part of Indianapolis called Irvington, and it was named that because of Washington Irving with the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So they're really big on Halloween. They
So
have
everyone, no one has a head.
yeah, that's right. They have the state's largest like Halloween festival, I think, that actually my wrestling company that I co-own, they were just we got to play that. That was a really big deal. So we got to put on a wrestling show outside of this gigantic Halloween festival, and the H Holmes house is in the neighborhood. We talked about
Oh, yeah,
a
the
few weeks ago that
devil in the white.
DC Stevenson from the KKK, his house is over here. So there's a lot of we have a street named Hawthorne after your boy Nathaniel Hawthorne, the Scarlet Letter. So it's a very scary area to live. Well, I mean, it's lovely, but we go all out for Halloween. You okay? What you looking for? You looking for Sleepy
Yeah, well,
Hollow?
I'm
You got it?
proving that this bookshelf is real and not virtual. But yeah, I have the
Oh,
devil in the white city here somewhere. But
oh dang. Um, and what was really cool because we just celebrated Halloween was that in Indianapolis there's an old mental institution in the area, and me and the wife went over, and we went there about a week ago, and it's dog friendly, and it's no longer a mental institution. It was shut
oh,
down, and they turned it. This is interesting. They turned it into a co-living space. And so when you go into what used to be, I think it's like the registration building, like your main central office,
mhm.
they still have. And the second I walked in here, my wife didn't tell me what it was. Second we walked in here, I'm like, this used to be an insane asylum, didn't it? Because it has like the green tile floor and the green tile walls and stuff. Hey, this looked like it was a creepy place to be 50 years ago, 60, 70 years ago. And not only did they turn it into apartments, but they also turned it into a coffee shop. And I put a link in the chat to one of my favorite news sites is Mere Indie, and they have a link to the father or the mother daughter team that runs the coffee shop called Westside Coffee Shop. Offers a taste of timeless and maybe a ghost, which I didn't see a ghost while I was there, but man, their coffee and their croissant sandwiches were amazing. And it it's now called Historic Central State. So if you want to pull that up, Los, if you go down to our second page of our notes and go to Mansion
Mm.
City Coffee Shop, it says Historic Central State. You can go ahead and share that screen. So that is the Mere Indie article about the coffee shop. Do they have any pictures in there? The person in the pictures who I met who made an amazing latte. So shout outs to them. Um, you scroll down there for a second, see if they have any pictures here. If not, click on the other link. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Central State Hospital. It's now called the Mansion Society. Because why would they want to say like coffee
Mm.
insane asylum mental like I don't know
Yeah,
what the proper term is, so if I'm offending anybody I apologize. um I think it was called like Indiana Central State Hospital. Yeah, look at that vintage feel. So that's the
wow,
actual coffee shop. Mm-mm-mm.
nice,
And if you click
pretty.
on over to the second link, oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The second link has the actual apartments.
Yeah, this is. Well, should we
Hey, that's
apply?
historic Central State. Yeah, 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 right
Yeah.
there. And so, hey, that's where it is.
Oh, this is it. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
look at the facilities, man.
Wow.
They got a pool in the backyard. That used to be a state hospital that shut
Wow.
down, and now it's converted. And you'll notice, what's I just worry that it gets really cold in the winter and hot in the summer. Like, look at those old windows, those. I imagine the insulation is not great.
Mm,
But and I don't know if you could look through and see pictures of there. They have a sauna that looks really nice. They have a gym. They have multiple kitchens. They have bathrooms, I think, on like every floor. And you can imagine living in a former state hospital, the rooms are probably not great. In fact, I saw in the rooms, like for protection, the windows were kind of small and high. You know what
mm,
I mean? Like they didn't want people
yeah.
escaping or anything like that. So when I saw some of the rooms, the windows weren't awesome, but it really incentivizes to be out and be in the community and be watching TV together and be cooking together. And that's what really inspired me when I started researching for this article, for this week's episode, Los, is
Mm,
that, how do we incentivize community building together? Because I think it was Trevor Noah that was talking on a YouTube video that I saw many times, where he says, never forget what they took from us. Is that, we in this country, we try and push other people away. They say you have to buy a house, you have
mm,
to live somewhere further away,
mm,
you have to distance yourself from people, and then once you do that, now you have to pay to bring the community back. Right? It's like, oh, now I got to pay for a nanny, I got to pay for a housekeeper, and then you have to bring the community back. Where it's like, why did we lose that in the first place? We could have just kept on that sense of community the whole time.
mm.
And I think there's something kind of beautiful about the Central State Hospital, which is, what did I say it was called now? Um,
Historic
the Yeah,
Central
the
State.
historic Central State, and then Mansion City Coffee Shop. Um, I just think it's a really great idea to build places that work together like that. What do you think?
Yeah, it's always, and we don't want things to go to waste. And oftentimes you have, yeah, like historic things that are just like, they're just there and we just keep them because they're older, but we lose sight of like the usefulness that they still have, right? The infrastructure is already there. So why not give it a new life, inject some
Hmm.
new life in there?
If you're looking for a definition of what defines a co-living space, it is defined as a residential model where residents have a private bedroom and often a private bathroom, but share extensive common areas like kitchens, lounges, co-working facilities, laundry, and amenity spaces. The model prioritizes community interaction, affordability, and efficient use of space. Los, do you have any fond memories of living in a co-living space?
Like dorms and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool living, right?
yeah. Do you want to go
Yeah,
back to it?
not anymore. But it was fun while I was doing. You run into people, it's just you're yeah, it's easier to connect with people. Maybe when we're old,
Yeah.
maybe we'll be in a facility.
I'm glad you brought that up, Los.
Uh-oh.
So you don't have to pull up this link, but there is a myth that co-living spaces are only built for young people. And so I do have an article in the show notes that says
Hmm.
aging in place, aging in community through co-housing. And what they're finding is that a strong majority, 80% of adults aged 45 and over, want to remain in their homes and communities as they age. These homes, however, may not work well for them over time. People experience loneliness, isolation, boredom, distance from family and friends. I always think about this all the time, Los, because I'm just like 70 years old. Accessibility problems. What if you can't get up and down the stairs or the bathroom and you end up falling, right? Home maintenance, cleaning, yard work, inability to drive, shop, prepare for meals, unaffordable housing costs. These are some of the things that as you age, Los, I don't think we're meant to live by ourselves. And so, with that said, a lot of
Look at
older
this.
people do really well in co-living spaces. Now, you talked about, I imagine, your take on co-living spaces for old people is like a nursing home, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I think the nursing homes get a bad name because of the reputation. But
Mm,
yeah, co-living spaces for older people,
yeah.
senior communities.
And I think that's really good. We'll play some shuffleboard together, man.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love the idea of being in a yeah, community for seniors. But look how much fun they're having. Looks like the most
Yeah.
fun I've ever seen in my life.
Oh
Look at
man.
that. Look. Cool.
And it keeps you young.
Yeah. You need
Uh,
community. You need great diet, exercise,
mm,
relationships.
yes.
Three. Those are the big three. That's what they
Uh,
say. I could be entirely wrong, but
no.
money could be in there. I don't know. But yeah,
Uh,
no, I love that. I love that. Great resource. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just think it puts everything into perspective, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
needing community even towards the end, as you're heading off into the sunset. Have
Is it
some
something
friends
you?
with you along the way.
Yeah. Is it something that you think about? Do you start planning for living at a retirement home someday?
I started planning, but I've always liked the idea of it. And if I could, because
Those the future's right around the corner. You're getting
yeah,
old now, man.
that's true. My mom worked in those facilities growing up
Hmm.
as a CNA, certified nursing assistant.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I remember one place she worked at was great. They had this like built in, like they had an ice cream parlor that was open like throughout the day. So you could just walk up, get ice cream. I think there were like shops and stuff. It was like a good one. Um,
Were old people serving the ice cream?
no,
Oh,
I
dang.
wish.
That'd be cool.
I wish. But yeah, they were really friendly. They had so much space and amenities. I was like, man, I want to be in one of those.
Hurry up, old timer. I want my Rocky Road. It's like this guy takes half an hour to get me a two scooper.
Yeah, but they had a full-on ice cream parlor. I love that.
Dang. Did it smell funny? The nursing home?
I guess they always do.
That's always my fear, right? Is that nursing homes kind of smell funny. I don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe that's
just
just mean of me.
spell
I
like life.
apologize.
Smell like life experiences. That's what.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Can I use this time to talk about my weekly hero of the upside, Los?
Sure, please.
Okay, you're gonna need to pull up a link. Go
Okay.
ahead and find it in our show notes. Every week, this is our time where we like to talk about who is the hero of this week's upside, and so we're talking about co-living spaces. And my hero of the week is now. Good luck to me pronouncing this. Is Humanitius? I think that's right.
Think our Dutch experts will tell us.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, they're Dutch. So, you had talked about, that co-living spaces are typically for younger people and you can age out of them, and one of the things that I think is really cool is that the Dutch are trying out this model, and it's been a while now. I think this article, how old is this article, from like 2016?
2015.
2015, yes. And I did do research to try and
They're
say,
still around.
is this still happening? And I believe it is.
Okay.
So this is a program that they started in the Netherlands that allows university students to live rent free in nursing home style environments. So essentially, they have to fulfill certain requirements per week. I think they have to fulfill a certain amount of volunteer hours, but they get to stay rent free, and what a amazing experience.
Yeah, I love that. Rent free? Are you kidding me? Especially how expensive.
Yeah.
And that's one of the challenges, right? That people face when, whether it's their parents or other
Mm,
family members or, even themselves, right? When you get to that point of where you're going to live towards, this period of your life, the cost is huge. It's like
yeah.
five, six, $10,000 a month.
Mm.
So
And that's an
take that out
interesting
of it.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your perspective on it is, because with some of the young people, because you just talked about, a 17-year-old niece, with your knowledge of young people, do you find that a lot of the 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 year olds that you see, are they still trying to live at home? 24, 25 year olds, is that something that you still see?
Um, yeah, I do see a little bit of that. I do see a
Mm,
little bit of that. And yeah, it's like, especially here, and if you're in a big city, right? I think you're just seeing that more and more often because how expensive it is.
Yeah.
um, to live on your own. And so you have a lot of young people who are less eager to like go to even if they're going to school, but going out of state or even,
Yeah.
further out on the other side of their own state. So like,
Mm,
yeah, it's like they'll go locally, like a state college or a city college or, one of the community colleges, and then they'll live at home and
yeah.
work. And yeah, you have a lot of, yeah, I meet a lot of people here in LA who do that.
And I think there's a need now. One of the best businesses I have heard about in the last 5 years is that senior care is a really big deal in the United States right now.
Yeah.
Right, as we're spending a lot of money, they're money makers. Right, as we need a lot of senior living facilities, and there's a lot of students who aren't going to be able to go to college or don't want to go to college or don't have the necessary skills to go to college,
Mhm.
and they're it's great if they can stay at home with mom, but I work with high schoolers and I have that conversation with parents where I say, are you going to you plan on keeping this kid here? And they're like, no. And the parent says, no, I'm not planning on keeping this kid here. But if you ask the kid, they go, oh, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm planning on staying at home. um, and so that kid's also not going to college. So where do they go, Los?
Mm,
They don't have the resume to go get a job to be and apartment. You can't pay for apartments because even those the hospital that I just showed you,
yeah.
it used to be super affordable. It was like $500 a few years ago, and it's now over 1,000. And it got some bad reviews on Google search
Oh no.
because they're like, I'm not staying in a former like psychiatric hospital for $1,000 for you know. Um, and so, what if the solution for all of this is, hey, if you're not going to go to college or anything, well, we'll have you live rent free here, but you're at a senior living facility and you have to do volunteer work, but we'll put you
Yeah.
up. That could be an option.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a great. Yeah, and it's especially if friends of theirs also live there. Because that's when we talk about community, right? And young
Yeah,
people, you want to, even when you're in your 20s, you still want to do the same stuff your friends do. And so if you make friends doing that, or you and one of your friends say, "Hey, we're gonna work here and live here, volunteer here," whatever the requirements stipulate. Um, yeah, let's do it together. And that no, nice memories. I feel you could make doing something like that.
yeah, absolutely. So we solved that problem.
Yeah, case closed.
Um, I will. Okay, if you want to share one more before we move on to working spaces, with co-living spaces in my research, I did find a really cool article about micro units, but check that one out in the show notes. It's a great article from the Atlantic. But I wanted to turn you on to Pad Split. Have you ever heard of Pad Split?
No, let's what we got pad split.
So there's two. You could actually go to the website itself. Yeah, go for that. And then I also have a Forbes article if people are interested in reading more about Pad Split. But Pad Split is a site where if money is an issue and living situations are an issue and you're just trying to look for a room, PadSplit allows you to search for a place to move in fast if you want to rent out a room. And so it's essentially trusted co-living. You can see flexible payments, which you know one of the issues that I had in Los Angeles, and I think you had too, right, is that it's year leases, right? And
Yeah,
so what happens if you can't afford it? Because a lot of Los Angeles was working actors and unemployed actors, right? And like, there's a
which
lot of
I may say, where the same building we lived in was month to month, which was great.
yeah,
Yeah. Shout
yeah,
outs
that
to
saved
Kim, by
us.
the way, our manager.
Kim and Angelo, yeah, I hope they're
Yeah.
doing real well, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while. We'll send them a message, see if they're still there. Oh, that's really cool. So you could explore by, well, you want to go to
City.
Los Angeles? Is it on there?
189 a week. Ooh, not bad.
Oh, hey, hi there. Okay. Well, let me move on in. Let's go to Miami. Oh, there you go. Rooms for rent in Los Angeles. Okay. And yeah, what I like about this is that if you need to get out, I think it's by the week, low. So if you're like, I just need a place to
Wow.
stay for a couple weeks, you could stay there and crash there and get on out. And so
It's
obviously during
incredible.
this, yeah, during this reading, my research this week, I looked up hostels, right? Because that's,
Mm.
hostels are a really big thing in Europe, but now there's a lot more options out there for short-term living situations, living with a group of people, stuff like that. And so
You
Pad Split is
ever
a
stayed in
really
a hostel?
interesting place. No, well, because
You ever stayed? No,
I've never gone overseas.
no.
I
I
mean,
stayed in a
I
hostel in the
oh,
U.S.
tell me more.
Yeah, it was in San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco. It was forgot what I was down there for, and or up there since they're
Down there,
up
it's
there.
like, dang,
Oh yeah, I think it was some renting stuff. Yeah, but yeah, we stayed at a hostel. It was like, hey, why get a hotel? Or I don't even think Airbnbs were much of a thing back then. Um, so yeah, it was
they're
like,
still not a
I
thing
don't know,
anymore.
like
They killed the
it's
market.
like 60, $80 a night.
Mm,
Yeah. And yeah, it was cool. You have your bed, you have shared facilities. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah,
dang.
I could
When I
see
stayed
the
in San
appeal.
Francisco, I slept under the redwoods because we went and
Ooh.
camped. We
Mhm.
did some camping, so that wasn't a hostel. Yeah, man. When I lived in Los Angeles, when I moved in, it was six dudes in a two-bedroom, two-bath apartment. Shout outs to Kim again for letting us do that. But that was as close as a hostel to it gets. But it was rent was 190 a month. That was pretty good. I'm an old man.
So Bertram, these were very interesting solutions. We looked at repurposed buildings, historical repurposed buildings. We
Yeah.
looked at innovations and senior co-living and
Mm.
more solutions for those, especially younger people who are looking at a place to live, whether that be short term or just getting started long term. And I think co-living is very familiar to people. So even if they're not familiar with how exactly the whole senior thing works, or paying by the week, I think a different concept that we're shifting to is co-working and understanding exactly what that is, right? Because it's like co-working isn't as, hey, if like, but for those who are maybe on the outside, maybe they're just used to working at an office or if they're working in retail, maybe that's not so much of a thing either.
Yeah.
So let's dive into exactly what co-working
Mm.
is.
Sure. Co-working spaces are shared workplace environments. They usually have professional amenities like high-speed internet, meeting rooms, printing, and they allow for independent professionals, freelancers, remote workers from different companies to work side by side. The value lies in the synergy, the networking, and the shared operational costs. What I have noticed in the co-working spaces I have been to is it's a lot of small companies, and what's great is that they can share the amenities. So I've noticed, man, that the places that have multiple organizations in the same space, they usually got some really cool stuff in there, Los. Like there's a place in Indianapolis that has it's a tech co-working space because a lot of these places tend to be what they call
Cater
niche
more to tech.
incubators.
Yeah.
Say again?
Yeah. No, I the co-working space is a lot catered to tech
Oh,
startups.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But not just right, because there's some of the ones I found online were nonprofit hives. So they were like, how do we put a bunch of nonprofits in the same area? In fact, there was one in Indianapolis that I found in my research, but they had just closed last year. And so what it was a group, it was all catered towards nonprofit work, which sounds amazing. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, the big one is
So,
tech.
mm, okay. So I get this, it gets to the question of why would I want to or need a co-working space versus some of the other concepts that we talked about, like an office building or, your own storefront, something like that.
Sure. For me, I think the best reason is you're able to kind of share bills. If hey, we can't afford a kitchen and a cleaning staff, but we'd like it for our employees because it would be an added bonus. If you could have four or five companies that, oh, there you go, very nice, that share it, I think that's a really big deal. Another big reason outside of just kind of sharing utilities, sharing bills, is networking. If you're, I think that that's the allure of having a niche, right? Where, hey, everyone that is in this organization is tech. That way you can have different organizations to get different perspective, outside opinions, and just kind of stay connected and use that as a really big networking tool. I think that's a really big idea. Ooh, what's that say down there? Government embracing the model?
Mm, look at that.
How
And
so?
yeah,
Yeah, the
so
U.S. General Services Administration.
oh, Elon Musk's favorite organization, huh?
Oh, dang.
Second to
Um,
what was that? Um, USAID. But anyway,
well, and with that said, I have another link in the show notes that you don't have to pull that up. We'll just stay on this one, from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Speaking of government, and they put some of the benefits of co-working, to answer your question, as flexibility. There's a
mm,
variety of different office and desk layouts, and workers can reserve based on their individual requirements. A sense of community is really big. Opportunity for networking, increased productivity and creativity. Some workers are more motivated when people are around them are productive and rely on a fast-paced office environment to ensure their deadlines are met, and lower costs. Some of the downsides of co-working spaces are obviously a lack of privacy. A lot of these places are open plan layouts, potential for distractions, limited customization and branding. That's a big one,
mm,
because you can't just change it to fit, you know, Los Incorporated, right? Or the Curiosity Collective. Dependence on shared resources, and some are greater expenses. Like the monthly fees for co-working can add up, especially for multiple team members. Remote work eliminates these costs entirely. So if you're trying to fight between co-working and remote work is probably a better option.
yeah, but I think you get to a great point when you highlighted some of the benefits, right? Going back to my original question, why would someone need or want to be in a co working space versus those other places? Cost. It's a huge thing. Rent, if you're a startup, right? Renting an entire office space, like
Yeah.
that's expensive. Or if you're a freelance, right? And you're just getting started just on your own, or maybe you've been around, but you just don't want to deal with like a lease and yeah, just
Mhm.
rent when your revenue stream could be a little volatile. Um,
Mhm.
Co-working spaces are great is because they have the infrastructure, right? They have the amenities, Wi-Fi. That some of those
Yeah.
co-working spaces have like little booths that you could go in for your video calls or meetings. Um, yeah, I think it's yeah, it has its downsides, right? But for what you pay, I think yeah, it's a huge benefit there.
And I've seen a lot of co-working spaces recently around town, and what I notice all of them have are gyms. Gyms and showers. And so if you're going to want to go to a place where you feel in control, there's a link in the show notes to the Harvard Business Review, and what they talk about is people end up working longer hours at co-working spaces, because they just really, and not necessarily working longer hours, but they're there longer. They put in some more time, and along with the productivity, they just really enjoy being there, because you could go there, take a lunch, go to the gym, work out, take a shower, come back to work, and you end up spending 10 hours there just because you like using all the amenities.
Yeah. I think that yeah, and it's like yeah, it's almost holistic, right? Because it's covering not just your work but your well-being, right? Fitness is a huge
Ooh,
thing. A lot of them have yeah, little cafes or some even have full-on restaurants.
yeah.
Some grab
And
a bite.
some of them are good too, where they
Yeah.
have, they got a sweet greens over there.
I love me
That's
some sweet green. The
yeah, man.
shrumami. That's my favorite. Um, great. But well, okay. So what was your did you have a are there any around you like in Indianapolis that you Don't
Yeah,
they
there's
have
a
that?
bunch. I think I put one in the show notes. I think it was for Cohatch. Maybe
Yeah.
yeah, I did. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Cohatch was one of the first ones that I saw. It's over in Broad Ripple, affectionately known as the Rip. That's
The
over there
rip.
near, yeah, that's over there near Butler University. And that was one of the first ones that I saw, and it's just a cool looking space, though. So you can go ahead and pull that up. Um, you would love if you'd like to move to Indianapolis, Los. You would love the Monon Trail, where it's this really long, beautiful trail,
Yeah.
and Broad Ripple's over there. They just got cool stuff over there. And um, you said it earlier, is that co-working spaces tend to be in old buildings. They repurpose buildings really well. The Co-Hatch used to be a church,
Nice. Oh, that looks like a
which
little
there's a
Sunday
lot of
school
churches
room.
in Indianapolis, and there's a lot of them that are somewhat in disrepair and could, Purdue Polytechnic, where I work, is
Oh, you
we're in
could
the
play
basement of a
golf.
church. Yeah, it's a pretty cool place, and then you could also entertain clients over there, right? It's also a
Yeah.
helpful sales strategy.
Yeah, they have some meeting room. Is this a podcast studio? What? Hey, let's. I think we found our space
Hey,
here.
let's go on over there. Let's
Oh, let's
let's
go to
put
the
the
hatch.
C3 over there.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Did
So
you already
for
click on that giant room in the middle? Did
oh,
we
this
look at
one.
that
Let's
one
see.
yet? Look at that.
Ooh,
Man, that is pretty.
a lot of them have great furniture too. One thing I've
Yeah.
noticed.
And I would take a shot in the dark and say that church probably wasn't being used as much. There's a lot of old abandoned churches in Indianapolis, so being able to use them again, I think that does some really good for the community. And there's a lot of old buildings in general in Indianapolis, so we don't want those buildings to go away because no one's using them.
What's old is new again.
Yeah, come on. All they need is the sweet greens.
Exactly. All right, Bertram. Thanks for showing us that.
Oh man, thank you for asking. You're doing such a great job, man. I'm so proud of you.
You know what I'm really excited about is our next segment because
Is
this is when
is
you
that
test me.
Oh, okay. So we like to do this game. It's the reality check. Los has a perfect score going forward. So what I like to do is I like to make a claim, and Los has to decide in just a short amount of time whether it's a myth or whether it's reality. And then you always have to explain your answer, Los. You don't
So
get, yeah,
everyone, I'm not looking. I have no
no.
idea what he's gonna ask me.
I hide
So
it from him. He
just
can't
see how
see
it
it.
goes.
All right, let's put some time on the clock. Clock, 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 clock. That's how you do that, apparently. Um, all right, let's reality check, myth versus reality. Let's go. Claim co-living spaces are mostly for young people and students who can't afford a real apartment.
Myth, myth. We just talked about seniors having an opportunity for co-living, and so yeah, those last and best years of your life, hopefully, could be spent around the community with a lot of
Yeah,
amenities. Yeah.
man, there's gonna be old people playing Battlefield here in a few years. That's crazy.
That's gonna be
Uh,
cool. Like our
yeah.
generation,
Oh
like
yeah.
video games are gonna be in senior facilities.
Then Fortnite eventually with these Gen Zers. I'm
Oh
looking
my
forward to
god.
that. Claim in a co-working space you lose privacy, meaning you can't discuss sensitive or proprietary company work.
My take is myth because you can lose privacy depending on where you're renting or
Yeah.
borrowing.
Uh, th- Most places have those silent booths now.
Yeah.
I don't know how expensive they are, but every co-working space I've seen has one where you can go in and you can scream and no one can hear you. And they
Mhm.
even have fire alarms in there because obviously if the fire alarm goes off, you
Mhm.
can't hear it. What do? They have them built in there. I think that's pretty cool. You're correct. Claim co-working and living is beneficial for introverts as it forces them to socialize.
Yeah. Truth. Reality is that real? Is I would say.
Well,
What do I say?
explain yourself, Los.
What's the what am I supposed to
Are
say?
you asking me? Are you telling me?
No, like my response if it's true. Is that reality? Do I say
Yes.
reality? Okay. I would say reality because yeah, it gets you in a if you're this was co-living or co-working, sorry.
Co-working and living.
Yeah. Either way, you're just around people who are either like-minded or coming from different environments, but like you being close to them in more or less intimate spaces allows you to connect with people further. And it's not like walking down the street or being like in a train or a bus where it's just a bunch of strangers and you're just like getting from point A to point B. Like
Mm,
you have to like be here. You know, I'm either living
yeah.
here, weekends, nights, or I'm working here from 9 to 5 or 6 or whatever. So I'm going to be spending a significant amount of time here. So I
Hmm.
might as well get to know some of these people. And if it's from a working standpoint, network with some of these individuals. If it's co-living, yeah, you may find your new best friend or, even future lover.
Oh,
Oh,
hey there.
uh-oh.
Um,
Hey now.
correct. Claim co-living and co-working are models that encourage overconsumption by offering lots of amenities.
Encourage overconsumption?
Yeah.
I'd say myth. I don't know if they're encouraging. I don't know if that's the intent to overconsume. I
Mm,
think it could be a byproduct of the amenities because if you're comfortable in the spaces you're in, why would you leave? Right.
yeah.
So I would say that's myth, but there's some
Yes.
truth to the outcomes.
Well, the reality is that they promote reduced consumption, right? If you instead of 50 residents each owning a vacuum, you share one. A
Oh,
gym
I see.
membership, a projector. They all share one, leading to less production waste and efficient resource
Cool.
use.
I was
And
thinking of
last one,
consuming
yeah,
the amenities, but yeah,
yeah, of course.
cool.
And then last one, claim the concept of co-living is completely new, invented by tech startups in the last decade.
No, no, I think co-working spaces have always been around. I
Yeah.
think they reached new popularity with the emergence of startups looking to cut costs. And I think the industry taking advantage of this new movement or swath of not swath in a bad way, but some emergence of these companies who need a place to work. And there's only so much commercial real estate space and that costs a lot. So yeah, took on a new life. Was that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you got your perfect score again.
I'm
Some of
still
them were a
perfect,
little,
everyone.
some of them were a little close. I feel,
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, the questions were a little on the
yeah,
on the
they
border
were
too. But
tricky.
yeah.
Well, before we get out of here, would you like to do our vocab word of the week?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
I'd like you to do it because man, you
Okay.
just got that beautiful voice.
So I wish I would have used this, but vocabulary. So synergy, which is Greek
Yeah.
syn meaning together and
Hmm.
ergos meaning work. So work together.
Are
Synergy.
Are you familiar with the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by?
Oh,
I
not
think it's.
really. It's always been a must read at the places I
Mm,
work, but I've never actually read it. So
it's been around since like the 80s. I think it was Stephen Covey, Dr. Stephen
yeah,
Covey. Habit 6 is synergize.
which
And
might
so it's,
explain why I'm not a highly
yeah,
productive person.
yeah, could be. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw. So it's all about going from um, a cycle of dependence to independence to interdependence and being able not only to rely on yourself, but now you're starting to go back to rely on others, but in a much more positive, proactive, efficient, productive way.
Mm,
Just being able to work with people, and I think that's the point of this episode, right? Is that we need to share spaces, especially in this country where there's an instinct to do the opposite. It makes us better people, man. We've been talking a lot over the last few months on all these episodes. Is we the problem lies within each other. That's the solution to the problem lies within each other.
yeah. So we that's something that's out there that we need to embrace is synergy, working together. Because it's the only way. That's the only way we're going to make things better and improving. And You'll find that the best teams out there, the best groups, the best collectives, if you will,
Yeah.
thrive because they have synergy.
Yeah, that's why Kevin Durant's a terrible basketball player, right?
Hey,
Like he's just
wow.
he can't
Come on.
synergize. He
They
just
had synergy in those 3 years in Golden State.
they had it before him too, and then he
Yeah, but
went
they
over
lost.
there.
They
He
lost.
was very lucky to get. He was
They
very lucky to
lost.
play for a winning team, and then he
They
left to go to.
lost.
He went to Brooklyn. He went to Phoenix. I think he's in Houston now, isn't he?
They lost. Golden State lost before they got him. And after they got him,
And
they
just
kept winning. They
man,
almost won three straight. But
how great is Steph Curry that he even brought a
oh my
bum,
God.
unsynergistic ball hog.
So
Even
for
even
those,
that guy worked out because the Warriors are so great at
just
synergy.
just the background, everyone. So Bertram and I have been podcasting since 2014. And our first podcast was titled Booze and Basketball. Every week,
The best of both worlds.
the best of both worlds, we spoke about the NBA and other basketball stuff, but mostly at the NBA while reviewing a new beer, whatever you call it. Yeah, every week. So we gave our take on beer, and it got a little crazy because we would often polish a entire six pack while talking about basketball. So delved into something else, but it actually is why we're still here because oftentimes our discussions veered off into life and how we could do better.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, but I say that because our first episode, and this was way back in 2014, Bertram called Kevin Durant a bum. And this was peak Kevin Durant, by the way, guys,
Man.
for NBA
Yeah,
people. Sorry.
that ain't saying much.
Sorry. Yeah. You non NBA people,
Dennis the
thank you
Menace
so
had a
much.
peak too.
No, this was coming off his MVP season, and this guy Bertram was calling him a bum. And so for the past, how long is that? 11 years? I've
Yeah.
been standing up for Kevin Durant.
And I've been
And
vindicated. I've been vindicated.
okay,
When he went to Brooklyn, everyone's like, "Oh man, Brooklyn's gonna win a title," and I was like, "They're not gonna win a title. That's not gonna happen." And then they went to Phoenix, and they said, "Oh, maybe he's gonna turn Phoenix's fortunes around." I said, "No, that's not gonna happen." And now he's in Houston, right?
he's in Houston.
It's not gonna happen. There's no chance.
I'm, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but the Golden State thing was genius. I thought it was genius. But that's it for us for this week, everyone. Thank you so much for watching or listening or listening. Thank you. Make sure to follow, subscribe, give us a
Please
thumbs up,
subscribe. Please subscribe.
give us a nice review, comments, if you will.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Hopefully you notice, even if you send us a bad comment, I don't know if you've looked at our comments, those, hey, look, man, the people that usually comment, they comment because they don't have nice things to say.
yeah,
And if you even send a mean comment, I will say, hey, thanks for listening.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for, even if you listen to you, if you can post whatever you want right now. If you're listening to this, that means you listen to the end of the episode. Say whatever you want, make fun of people,
You're in
whatever,
the
and I
top
will say
point something something
yes.
1%.
I
Like
guarantee I will respond and say thanks for listening
if
because
you leave a
I
comment,
appreciate it.
you are elite. You're in elite
Yeah,
company.
you're my hero. Even if you say awful things about me, it's like thank you for commenting. I love you. Are you kidding me? And
Great.
you subscribed?
So yeah, thank you so much on behalf of Bertram. I'm Los, and we'll see you not just on the other side. We'll see you on the upside. All right, goodbye.